Next up, we have one of my favorite snacks at Harrods ever, the olive stick. This is not my recipe, I did not create it, but it absolutely is one of my favorites. Quite a simple dough that we're just mixing olives through. So we start with, you can put most of our water in, our flour, a little bit of olive oil, yeast. If you're using instant dry yeast, which I recommend, you can mix it straight into the dough. It doesn't need to be hydrated or refreshed. The salt, gonna mix now. Now, these are olives. I've just soaked them in water overnight to take out a bit of the salt content. If you're using olives that are just in a light brine, you can use them as they are, obviously pitted. If they're in oil, just try and rinse as much of that oil off as possible. So we just want to mix this on low until it forms a dough. I'm gonna let time do its thing and develop this dough. So we're just going to put some cling film over the bowl and come back in 30 minutes to do some folds to help develop the gluten. So we've had a 30-minute rest so far. You can just wet your hands slightly or use a bit of oil. We're just going to do some turns by lifting the dough from the sides and flipping and folding them over, and then letting that sit for another 30 minutes and doing that twice in total, 3 times in total. So after doing those stretching folds a total of 3 times, the dough should be really nice and stretchy, developed, and slightly aerated. We can use a tiny bit of oil and that dough should just come out really nicely. At this stage, I don't like to use flour or semolina, and I don't want to press down any air because for this dough, I'm not really going to prove it. I'm going to weigh the 80-gram portions. Perfect. And then I'm going to use the semolina to roll them out. So I'm going to just spread a bit of semolina on the bench. I'm just going to roll it out, stretching outwards as I go along. And sometimes the olives will pop out. That's okay. We're just going to stick them back in. And then I'll just put in a little bit of semolina to finish. As we get to the edges, I'm just going to give that a little twist. They are going to be nice and chewy, crispy and chewy. I think they look a bit like wands, and we're just going to set those aside to proof while the oven preheats. They're not going to have a long proof as such. We're just going to preheat the oven and then put them in.